Hey, it's Denise. Um, some of you might be wondering, especially if you've been watching my videos. Um, if this is the first one you're watching, welcome. Um, how come you see me in different versions of my pajamas, basically, so often? And one thing that I've started doing, I noticed, is if I do have to leave the house for anything, like once I get up in the morning and get dressed, if I have to go out for anything, when I come in, not only do I spray every door handle, including my car door, the steering wheel, hand sanitize everything, but I peel off the outer layer of whatever I was wearing. And because I don't want to sit on my bed on clothes that may have come in contact with any sort of germs or viruses that may have been out wherever I was. So yeah, this safe at home time, which I am choosing to stay with that positive motto instead of stuck at home. I'm going with safe at home. And not gonna lie, there are times I feel stuck at home just like everybody else. Yesterday I had a hard time with it. I don't know why it was particularly bothering me. Excuse me. Dry throat. Sorry about that. I swear drinking the tea makes... It's probably the tannic acid in the tea. Instead of drinking the flavored water I usually drink, I've been drinking a lot of iced tea. So, as I showed you the other day with my fabulous, obviously high quality purple wig, it had this giant tangle of a ponytail, which this morning, just a few minutes ago in fact, which would make it early this afternoon, I hacked off. This thing is like a Brillo pad. I don't think there would be any bringing this back to fluffy, cute wearability. And considering that the videos that I've watched on things you can use as a homemade mask, as we should all be covering our faces if we have to be out in public, to protect the people around us and to protect any merchandise or shelves or counters or anything that we might be breathing, coughing, sneezing near that other people might touch. One of the things that seems to pop up if you don't have sewing abilities, which I do not have. I saw a couple videos. You can look up DIY face masks or no sewing face masks. And quite a few of them use ponytail holders. So as I was getting ready to toss this, I was like, you know what? Save the ponytail holder. I had long hair most of my life, but I tried using scissors. I was sitting there for about 5 minutes with these scissors, which I use for everything. I was just hacking at that ponytail. It was like nothing was happening. I finally had to take out my boot knife. And some of you are like, oh dear God, she's like a chainsaw murderer or something. Well, I guess this would make me into some sort of knife murderer. No, I spent many years around horses. As I've mentioned before, my spinal cord injury, I was an equestrian most of my life. And as you can see, this, as you could see before I dropped it, I'm reaching for it. Wish that I don't land on my head and that my purple hair doesn't fall off. Okay, neither of those things happen. I'm putting my purple hair down and I need to throw out. This holder for this particular knife is meant to strap onto your boot, so that if you are on a horse, and now I don't ride anymore, obviously. I don't have the balance for it or the leg strength. But if you're out in the woods and your horse's reins, feet, anything get tangled up, you need to be able to untangle them quickly before you have a panicking. Now, my big girl I should say, she's no longer with me, but she is well in her new home. She is a Percheron cross, so she is a very large horse. And, you know, to have a 1,700 animal start to panic and start to pull puts everybody in danger. So it is, around barns, you'll see a lot of people carrying what might be considered, you know, obviously you're not carrying it concealed for the sake of committing a crime. It's just good common sense if you're in a barn environment to always have something with which you could cut either leather strapping, such as reins or bridle if part of the horse's bridle got stuck. So yes, it is not for evil reasons that I had this around. Just wanted to clarify that for people who are like, whoa, why is the, you know, check out the subscription box lady suddenly armed with large weapons? It's not sudden. I've always been armed with large weapons. You just didn't know. Anyway, so I guess what I was thinking about today, I'm totally leaning out of the frame while I'm trying to find places to put stuff down. What I was thinking about today was, at what point do you decide? Now, yesterday I went out and I did make a quick stop to pick up a few things that I realized maybe we should have more of in the house, as it looks like we may be in longer. There is some concern in my area because where I live is largely a summer tourist area, and a lot of the homes here are like second homes or vacation homes. And we're about 5 hours from New York City. So a lot of people are fleeing New York City, where obviously COVID-19 is horrible. I mean, it's horrible everywhere, but the amount of cases they're having are starting to really overwhelm the health system there. And they're coming to their summer houses up here, where we had almost no cases. People coming into the area have all been asked to self-quarantine for 14 days before they go out in public, before they go shopping, before they go. But you know people aren't going to do that. You know they're going to come up to their house they haven't been at in 6 months and then realize that there's no food. Hopefully they brought food from the house that they left in the city so that they could stay in for 14 days when they get up here, rather than contaminating a whole new community, which has been very careful for the most part. We shut our schools down before there was a single case even reported in the county. So yeah, it's gotten a little scarier because we know that a lot of people have moved from the New York City area up to their second homes in this, like I said, what is largely a summer vacation sort of destination. That really has upped people's anxiety about going to the stores, about being out, because we feel like now you've just exponentially increased the likelihood that you would come in contact with someone who may have the virus. So my question really is, at what point do you say, you know, yes, I know we might run out of milk, or we might run out of Lysol, or we might run out of, whatever. At what point is it not worth the risk? And I guess this is I'm asking everybody to think of their own answer, because I don't know the answer. To me, this morning, it was kind of like I wanted to go to the grocery store and get some fresh soy milk. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to push my luck. I do have asthma, quite severe asthma. As I probably mentioned before, I've actually lost count. I've been hospitalized so many times for it. And it's bad. When it gets bad, it's bad. And just a regular, respiratory infection, like a bad head cold, can trigger an asthma attack for me. And I don't mean like an asthma attack that you use your inhaler and it goes away. I mean like you get admitted to the hospital and they're giving you IV steroids and those breathing treatments every 4 hours around the clock, so that even when you're trying to sleep, they're like strapping the mask to your face because you can't stay awake, long enough to hold the treatment up to do it. Because after a few nights in a row of that nonstop, plus you don't sleep well. The medications are basically like synthetic epinephrine, the stuff that they use for bronchodilators to help break asthma attacks. So they give you a very jittery, like over-caffeinated feeling, and you can't really sleep. In addition, the IV steroids make your heart pound out of your chest. Me personally, I cannot sleep. I can start going a couple days at a time without sleep, and then you start seeing things. And again, even though you know it's not real because you've been through it before, like not my first rodeo, I know if I've been on steroids for days, I've not gotten adequate sleep for days, and all of a sudden I'm catching, glimpses of something out of the corner of my eye, and then I look and there's nothing there. I know that's my mind starting to play tricks on me from lack of sleep. So, yeah, in a nutshell, my asthma is severe. And when I'm well, when I'm not having a problem with it, it's well controlled on the medications that I'm on. But I don't let that kid myself. My lungs are not up to an attack from something like COVID-19. Or I guess, to be more correct, COVID-19 is the disease. The thing attacking us would be SARS-CoV-2. That would be the germ. But, so I guess for me, my personal where to draw the line kind of happened when I read in the paper yesterday afternoon about the numbers of people surging up to this area from the New York City area, and how they're just publicly putting everywhere asking if people have just come up to the area from New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut to please self-quarantine for 14 days before they go out. And also, of course, being part of New York State, we are supposed to be out with masks on if we're in public. Not the medical grade masks that the healthcare workers need, just the homemade ones that, you're hearing everybody talk about. But those only work if everybody wears them, because they don't protect you, the healthy person. They stop the sick person from spreading it. So if the sick person who doesn't know they're sick yet refuses to wear a mask when they're in public, it's going to spread like wildfire up here, just like it did in the city. So I guess for me, up until now, I have felt relatively comfortable. I'm not going to say 100% comfortable. I don't think anyone's 100% comfortable. But I had felt relatively comfortable as far as using the hand sanitizer and, bringing your own bags and spraying everything with Lysol. And between all those measures, I felt like if I needed to run into the store for something, people were maintaining social distancing. Now people are starting to wear the masks. As of, yesterday was the last time I went out to a store. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, and it may have pissed some people off, and like I said, I did not mean it to be any sort of general sexist statement. Simply the facts of what I saw in the one store I was in was that every single woman in the store, employee and shoppers alike, including myself, we all had our faces covered with some sort of cover. I did not see one man in the store with his face covered. So I don't know why men think they don't have to cover their faces. I also saw, just to give you an idea of how, like, in the sticks I am, as you walked in the door. Now, we've been told, nobody's been giving you plastic bags anymore. They've been pretty much banned. They were then given an extension, apparently, until the end of April because of the whole COVID thing. In fact, when I walked into the store, there was a sign up saying, keep in mind, this is a handwritten note, like on a piece of cardboard when you first walk in, and it says, "We will be using plastic bags. We are not allowed to touch your reusable bags because of the apostrophe Rona." That's right. Up here it is now just simply being called Rona. Not coronavirus, not COVID-19. It's gotten a nickname. It's become just Rona. I guess Rona sounds a little less threatening and a little less scary, but part of me says that's not a good thing, because it almost doesn't sound like you're taking it seriously when you just call it that. On the other hand, everyone does know what you're talking about, so it's not like it's not clear. But yeah, I just felt like yesterday, and then just to piss me off, just gonna say this, I got my one bottle of bleach, and I get home and I'm unpacking my bags, and one of my bags, the one that the bleach and the drain cleaner, my freaking drain is still running. I've done 2 bottles of drain cleaner, plus done boil a kettle of water on the stove and pour it down in case it's just like soap, oil buildup or something. You pour boiling water. Sometimes that helps. Nothing is helping. My bathroom sink is draining slowly. So I bought another bottle of like liquid plumber type stuff, and I bought a bottle of bleach, which she put in the same bag. When I went to take them out of the car, I felt stuff dripping down my hand and immediately could smell the bleach. I was glad it wasn't the drain cleaner because lye would have burned my skin. But my Try Guys pink t-shirt that I love now has white streaks randomly on it where the bleach dripped on me. I'm actually considering maybe, I went and rinsed it off so that it wouldn't eat through the fabric. It's bad enough to take the color out in spots, and now my lovely pink shirt is got just random bleached out white areas. I'm thinking of drying it and maybe, flicking a brush with some bleach on it to kind of maybe make it look like it was done on purpose. Hey, I've got time. I got time on my hands, so, I might do that. But on a more serious note, now that I'm feeling like, the time for going out to the stores is pretty much over, that puts me in the position of really having to take stock of what we have in, and how long I think it can last before I would have no choice but to have to go back out to the store. Now, obviously, we're going to run out of things we like, things that, wouldn't it be nice to have this particular thing or that particular thing? But at this point, I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about, is it enough calories? We both take multivitamins. We both have I have pretty much, for most of my medications, I can get a 3-month supply at a time. There are 2 of them that I can't, that I have to get every month. So those will be things that I would have to go out to the pharmacy for. What else? Other than those, I'm trying to think what else would I feel is important enough that at this point, is it worth the risk? What are we running low on? Paper bowls. I bought a giant pack of paper plates. I didn't think to buy paper bowls, and we're down to a few of them. So soon we'll be having to use regular bowls, and my son will actually have to wash them and not just leave them in the sink because I'm not the maid. He's 17. He's a very good kid, and he's helping me with stuff that I need help with. Like, he helped me with my AeroGardens. By the way, my potato plants are shooting up, so I'm hoping that's a good indicator. And the funny thing, the potatoes that I got for free out of the dumpster, from dumpster diving, have taken off way faster and are growing plants much stronger looking and much faster than the seed potatoes, which are what, specifically kept in the right circumstances so that they will sprout when you plant them for, my garbage potatoes that I left in a cabinet, and then started to sprout eyes, are growing faster, healthier looking plants than the seed potatoes that I actually spent money on as seed potatoes. Thought that was kind of interesting. Now I wish I had used the bigger buckets for the dumpster potatoes because I feel like they would have produced more. My strawberries, out of the 2 packs, which should have yielded 20 plants, there's only maybe about 17 plants, and of those, only 5 grew. So I've got 5 little tiny strawberry plants starting to grow. A couple of my broccoli seeds have just started to sprout. What else? A couple mini purple bok choy look like they're starting to sprout. I have, as I've mentioned, a young cherry tomato plant that's starting to flower on my kitchen counter. So yeah, I'm gonna hate my electric bill because using the extra grow lights and things to get stuff started indoors, you're using extra electricity. But to me, considering our short growing season up here in northern New York, you have to get your plants a good start, or else they're not going to mature and produce what you need before the first frost. So you really can't wait and sow seeds for most things here directly in the ground, because we can have frosts up until the first week of June. So that's it. I guess, like I said, my plan now, today I'm going to try to start looking at really counting, like, how much of each particular item do I have on hand, and how long do I think it will last. So if you guys, if you have your own idea of, like, okay, at what point did you stop feeling safe going to the store? If you already have been like, you know what, yeah, I was running out for things here and there, but I've decided enough's enough. We're going to lay low for a while. What made you make the decision that it was that time? And if you haven't made that decision yet, what do you think would be the deciding factor for you to say, yeah, we can live without the whatever the item is that, someone in the house wants, because I'm just not taking the risk of going out to the store right now. Let me know. Let me know what you think. And clothes that you wear out there that you're touching stuff and you might lean up against stuff inadvertently in the, out at the store. Take that stuff off when you get home. I take it off and then I spray it with Lysol before I even drop it on the hamper. And then, that's why you'll often see, I threw my pajama top back on, or I'll throw one of my nightgowns back on, because I don't want the clothes I was out and about in on my bed. That's something I've been doing for a while, pretty much since the beginning of this whole, since I got home after the disastrous, well, luckily it worked out well, but, having my retina detach and 2 emergency surgeries while I was down in what I think of as the hot zone, which has gotten a whole lot hotter since I was fortunate enough to get out of there. I'm referring to the areas closer to New York City. But yeah, that was really kind of my thought for the day was, where do you draw the line of, okay, it's no longer worth the risk to get that extra roll of toilet paper or that extra can of disinfectant, that you'd rather just hunker down in your house. Hopefully you're not letting anybody else in. If you and your family or whoever you're home with have been home for over 2 weeks and you're not sick, please don't be letting other people in. Just don't, and don't go to other people's houses. You see your neighbors outside, you can, give a wave and talk from some distance away, but you shouldn't be within 6 feet of anybody. And that's it. I guess I just really wanted to see how other people feel about making that decision of, okay, I have been running out when I thought of something we could use more of, but at this point, unless it's, like I said, unless it's like medication or something that absolutely has to be had, not a want, but an absolute have to have, I'm not going out for the time being. I'm back to listening to my audiobooks a lot. I just watched my day's, worth of ridiculous politicians. At this point, I wish Cuomo would run for governor. He is governor. I wish he would run for president, because honestly, he seems to know what he's doing more than a lot of other people. And of course, he's not even in the running. He's not interested in running, from what he says. But hey, we only have the choices we have. We can pick, certain parties are trying to block people from being able to vote by mail, and actually came out and said, if you do that, no Republican will get voted in. It's like, wow, you said that out loud. Do you realize that? You just admitted that you're trying to block neighborhoods and socioeconomic classes that would not vote for you. You're trying to block them from voting. You just admitted it. What happened to this is supposed to be, our election process is supposed to represent all of the people. But again, I don't want to make it about politics. I just want to kind of, bring up to me how irritating I find it when one of the people speaking to us about coronavirus, one of the leaders that's supposed to be helping us all get through this, is more worried about politics or how popular they are on Facebook or Twitter than on the fact that thousands of Americans are dying every day. It's not a time for them to be making jokes about being popular on Facebook and Twitter. It's just not. Not when 1,000 Americans lost someone in their family last night, or in the last 24 hours. So be safe. Figure out what your deciding factor is, and when that comes, stick to it and don't go out. Make the best with what you have on hand. And, watch cooking videos. What a lot of people are doing, kind of, videos now on, cooking from what's in your pantry, things that only take a few ingredients that most people have on hand. And just make the best of it. They say use up the fresh stuff in your refrigerator first, then use up frozen stuff, which you would lose if your power was out for any significant amount of time. And then last but not least, your shelf-stable stuff, because that's the stuff that's going to last the longest. So you just want to keep that in mind, when you're looking at sort of taking inventory of what you have and how long it will last. is how much of it is stuff that's going to go bad, how much of it is stuff that you would lose if the power went out, and how much of it is truly shelf stable. That's it. Oh, I should probably, well, no, we'll do gratitude later. And that's not to say that I'm not grateful. Personally, right now, I'm grateful that my son and I are healthy. My mom and my other son, who are 4 hours away, are healthy. And I'm hoping my best friend, who seems to be having some cold symptoms but doesn't otherwise feel sick, no fever or anything, I'm hoping it really is just a cold because I'm worried about him. And but I'm grateful that so far so good. At least, here. I know that in so many places people can't say that. And I feel guilty saying it, But everyone just do your best. Don't let the stir craziness get to you. Find something fun to do, have a picnic on your, if you have a couch that folds out, or if you had a king size bed, for dinner or lunch, have a picnic with your kids, instead of sitting around the table. Or make sure that you're staying in touch via text or, through Facebook or whatever, with family and friends who you can't see in person. And make sure you are staying on top of, if you're someone who, like me, gets a lot of your medications through mail order pharmacies, the ones that do like a 3-month supply at a time of your long-term medications, make sure you're keeping an eye, because they might be running a little slower right now, and deliveries certainly are running a little slower right now. So make sure you check that any medication you're on that you require on a daily basis, make sure you let your doctor know if you need a prescription called in, maybe a little earlier than you normally would. Be safe. If you go out, cover your face. And let's all do our best to stop the spread of this thing so life can get back to normal as soon as possible. Have a great day. Love the people you're with. If you're home alone, hang in there. Stay in touch with other people. Try to keep yourself entertained. Journal. I journal. I also sometimes video journal, not things that are going to be posted, just that I need to get stuff off my chest, or it's stuff that I think I might want to look back on and remember, but it's not necessarily that's something that's to be put out there for the world. So, whatever your situation, whether you're going stir crazy with the people you're in the house with, or the isolation of being home by yourself is making you nuts, try not to give in to that, and don't let it become the reason that you go out and get sick. Be well, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, subscribe and like and share, and have a great day.